As you can see in front of me today, we're going to do something a little different. I don't have my sewing machine. I know, right? How are we supposed to be doing something quilting or fabric related with no sewing machine? Well, today we're going to make these adorable pine cones using a foam egg and some of our scrap fabric. You can decorate them however you want. We can make them for Christmas, wintry, but today we're going to make them for fall. My favorite season. What is your favorite season? Let me know in the comments below. Hello and welcome. I'm Jackie with Jackie Russell Creates, where I give you tips, tricks, and techniques for your next quilting projects. If you're new here and you learned something from this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know the next time that I upload a video. Until then, let's get started. All you need is a 3.75 egg. I can't find any of these around my town, and so I had to order them online. I'll leave a link for you in the description below. And then you're going to need some fabric, scrap fabric. It needs to be big enough for a 2.5-inch square. I used some jelly roll strips to make mine, but you can use regular fabric. And then you're going to need some straight pins. I get mine from Walmart. They're 1.25 inches long. You can get 250 of them for like $1. That's at my Walmart. So if you can get the same things, they're perfect size for it. And then you're going to need some greenery and different things to decorate the top of your pine cone, and then some ribbon for the hanger to coordinate with whatever thing you choose. So my pile of fabric here is a lot more than what you're going to need. I'm just making several of them, and so I was at the ironing board and just kept on going. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make a 2-inch, you're going to have a 2.5-inch square. That's why I like to use a jelly roll, because it's already cut at 2.5. I just have to make it a square. And then you're going to fold it in half, and then you're going to take your corners and make a triangle with the point in the middle. And I press mine down just to make things a lot easier. Then we have our pins, and then we have our egg. So we're going to start at the bottom, the smallest part of the egg down here. And mine actually has a circle in there, which kind of gives me a good indication that it's the center of my egg, but you'll want to kind of find and give some kind of marking for the center of your egg. And then you're going to take a fabric and you're going to open it up. This is just for the first row, but you're going to open it up and you're going to be able to see where your center is by all those creases, and you're going to put a straight pin in there. Then you're going to poke it down the center of your egg. And then here's where you got to decide. Do you want it like this one that has the little flaps down underneath so it's smooth on top? Or do you want your flaps to be poking up? And so then you'll have a little crease like that, your little seam. I want mine flat, so I'm just going to flip it over. And you're going to just kind of straighten it across your fabric or your egg, and then you're going to poke a pin down the corner. Now, if you had it the other direction, you'll have to put one to hold those two flabs down. So what I like to do is you'll start on this, so I start on this side, so I'm going to come directly across from it. And I like to use the same fabric of what I use. You do not have to. So we're going to find this and poke in, and then you're going to poke this right down that same spot, right in the center. So if you wanted your flabs up, you're going to pin each corner, and then you're going to overlap these ends just a tad bit and put a pin in right there. So by having your flabs up, you're going to use more pins than if you do it the way that I'm doing it. So then you want to even it, make sure that it's even there, and then just come in and pin down your corners. Now you can use the same color for these other sides, or you can do something different. So I did something different here, but I think this time I'm going to do the same fabric, so it's all for the same. I'm going to find that center again. You're going to poke it right down the center, and then you're going to if it's not right that's in the center, you can pull back up and put it, and then yes, it is going to overlap a little bit. That is perfectly fine. And you're going to pin those corners down. Last year I made ornaments for my family, circle ornaments, and did this, and oh, my finger was so sore afterwards. So a thimble may be a good tool to have on your finger for poking down. So the last one for this row, we found the center of the fabric. We're going to put it right down in the center of the egg. Fold under them flaps and pin down the edges. Now for the next rows, you don't have to find the center, because we're not going to be pinning down those points, the center points. We're only going to be pinning down the sides. So now you'll pick another color or fabric, and you can see where these lines overlap. That's where we're going to now start adding our next row, is right there. Now I like to go about 1/4 of an inch to or so down. Let's see. I don't think it's quite a 1/2 inch. Yeah, about 1/4 of an inch. Sorry about that, I spilt my tea. So I like to go about 1/4 of an inch. So you're going to just kind of line up your point. Make sure it's kind of centered on this line and with the center, and then you're just going to pin down the end flaps. And that's going to give us the pine cone pieces. Now, once again, I go opposite side. Just kind of eyeball it, but match it up so it's even with this one along this line, about 1/4 of an inch. I don't get too precise. And now we're going to do the other two sides. You're going to line up and kind of just make sure that they're all, you know, about the same height and distance. And then you're going to pin that one down. And like I said, I always go the opposite. It just makes it easier for me to be able to line things up and match. And to me, it just looks a little cleaner, you know, as you go around. So now we're ready for our next row. You could, like I said, you could use Christmas fabric, you could use a winter fabric, whatever you have left over. I have 5 different designs here, but I've used, at Christmas time, I just used 6, 7 different fabrics. You know, I just made a big pile. So we're getting ready to do the next row. We're going to come in the center of those 2 points, about 1/4 of an inch down, and just pin those ends. You can put them however close or however far apart you would like. The only thing I recommend, depending on how far apart you put them, you may see the pins, and so I always make sure that we have the pins from the row above covered up. You don't want to, you know, put them too far down that you're going to be able to see the pin heads. So that's why I go about the 1/4 of an inch. But you definitely can go as wide, or, you know, however many you would like, how spaced you would want them. Just keep that in mind. So we're just going to keep doing this all the way around. Now you're going to get to the point that, so now we're back to where we're just lining up this point with the point in front of it, leaving your space, and pinning. So I do check, like when I am ironing my fabric, I do check to see which way I want to fold it, of which way I want, what design I want poking to be seen. So, you know, that is one thing to check if you have patterned on your fabric and you want to make sure, you know, a certain thing is being seen. And we're just going to keep going all the way around until we get up to the top part of our egg. So I got to about there, and you can kind of see where the overlapping is starting to look a little funny. So from here, we're going to open up our flabs, and we're just going to fold it in half again. So you have a little square like that. And we're going to place it just the same as we did before. And then we're going to pin. So you want to make sure that the raw edges are facing toward the bottom of your egg. And you're just going to pin those 2 corners. You don't have to worry about pinning this corner because it's going to get covered up and pinned down. So you'll just open and just make a square. We're going to put raw edges down, and I'm still going opposites. So we're going to do another row, and we'll get to the point that this is all per se covered in. And so now that I have them all pinned on and my egg is completely covered with fabric, I do like to come in and lay these points down and put a pin in there just to help hold them down. Yes, they're going to be glued and things will be glued on them, but I just like to make sure they're nice and secure. So I just put a few pins in there. Make sure it's going to hold for several years, you know. And there is the pine cone. And so now I have some ribbon, and I think I'm going to make a little bow that will have the hanging loop as well. And there is our pine cones made from scrap fabric. So I hope you enjoyed this project, and we'll make some for your Christmas tree or just to decorate around for fall, Christmas, and for winter time, just using up those scrap fabrics or those leftover jelly rolls that you have left over. If you like this video and you think one of your friends may like it as well, please share it with them. That really helps my channel grow. Until then, happy quilting, my friends.